Happy VA Wednesday. So I recently had a reporter ask me about how VA interest rates differ versus conventional as well as closing costs. And it's one of those questions that people have a lot, and there's a lot of misinformation. So I wanted to give you guys the real deal. And if you're like, who is this woman giving me the real deal? I'm Jen Beeston. I've been a mortgage lender for 18 years. My team's licensed in 50 states. I've been ranked the #1 VA purchase loan officer in America for the last 2 years. VA is what I live, breathe, drink, eat, sleep, and it's what I can talk about all day long. So yeah, also I do conventional mortgages and I do FHA. We do a little USDA, but really we're mostly VA and conventional, okay? Here's the deal. If you want to tell if a lending company is screwing over veterans, go look at what their jumbo rates are versus VA. Yeah, that's the thing. So a lot of people think that VA sets the rates. They don't. Lenders do. And one of the reasons I started really talking about VA was because I was talking to someone in the industry when I started noticing rate discrepancies, and they taught me about stepping on the rates. What does that mean? Well, it means that you have one product category where you're making more off of those loans in order to give discounts to another category that's more competitive. So here's a great true story. Recently, we had a veteran that sent over their loan summary. It was insane. It was a locked loan. It was with one of the biggest call centers in the United States, and they were charging this veteran 1% over where the market is. Yeah, a whole % higher in interest rate, as well as a truckload of fees. Okay, so we look at it, we're like, oh, we can save you money, blah, blah, blah. The next day I get a call from my sister. My sister is a loan officer in Seattle. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, oh my God, Jen, this lender, they are offering XYZ on jumbo. It's crazy. It was way below market. So on these jumbo loans, the rates are lower than most of the market, but on VA, they're a lot higher. No. VA rates should always be lower than jumbo and conventional for the simple reason that VA loans are insured by the government. That's right. So if you want a quick thing like, is the bank, is the lender, like, are they a sleaze hound when it comes to VA, look at the VA rates and fees and look at the jumbo. And if you see that a jumbo 30-year fixed is lower than a VA 30-year fixed, you walk away and you tell your friends to stay away, because odds are that's being stepped on to make this more affordable. Seriously, it's one of the things that fires me up the most. So yes, VA rates should always be lower. What about closing costs? Because you hear a lot of misinformation about that as well. At Rate, we waive our lender fee. So yeah, you still have to pay for a credit report. Yes, you still have title and escrow. Yes, you still have your property taxes and insurance, but we waive our lender fee. There's some people in the VA space that charge 1% origination. And what they'll do is they'll send a VA guideline that says the lender can charge 1%. Can and have to are two very different things. Lenders don't have to charge you 1% on a VA loan. If someone told you they do, it's nonsense. The only fee that a lender has to charge you on a VA loan is the funding fee if you're not exempt. And that's because it's a VA fee. The funding fee is a VA fee. So if you're not exempt, yes, VA loans have funding fees, okay? Now, do you still have to pay for an appraisal? Yes, you do, okay? That's both loans. Now, people go, well, wait, are conventional closing costs lower? For us, they're not. And the reason is that if you're conventional, our lender fee, gosh, my team always quotes everything, guys, so I'm like scared. It's over $1,600, whereas with VA, we waive it. So conventional is actually more expensive from a cost perspective if we're the lender. Okay, now look, are there some lenders that charge less? Sure. Are there some lenders that charge more? Yes. You know, with any of this, what the lender is charging you is based on the lender. It's not the loan program, okay? That's what you need to know. The only thing is VA has a funding fee, whereas conventional doesn't. And sometimes people go, okay, well, I'm not exempt from the VA funding fee, and if I'm doing 20%, then conventional is better, right? No, not usually. It depends on the lender. Like we always do the math, and the rate is so much lower with VA that even 20% conventional, you know, the funding fee, if you do 20%, is 1.25%. You can't get down to that same rate that I can get you with VA with conventional for 1.25 points. So even though in theory you're like, oh, well, this has a funding fee, this one doesn't, the rate difference on VA is so much better that it's still a better choice, okay? And look, it depends on the lender. Like we talked about in the beginning of the video, if you're working with one of those lenders that's definitely ripping off veterans, like, yeah, that may not be true, but you're gonna look out from that in the beginning and tell your friends as well. Like, we got to stop that in the industry. I'm so sick of it. I can't even tell you. And I've been talking about it for 7 years on YouTube now. Like, I don't want to be a 90-year-old woman in a shawl saying the same shit. So help me out here and tell a friend. So closing costs, you know, the only time conventional is going to be more expensive or VA, like it depends on what the lender's charging you, okay? Yes, VA has a funding fee. If you're exempt, it doesn't. Then you're just looking at the lender's rates and fees. And once again, the lender's controlling that, not the loan program. If you're doing a lower down payment, you know, of course, VA is going to be better because it doesn't have mortgage insurance. But here's the key thing. VA interest rates should always be lower than conventional and jumbo. If your lender you're working with says they're not, run away. Run away, run away. If you want to see if you're getting a good deal, give us a call, 786-933-2077. And when it comes to closing costs on a VA loan, we waive our lender fee. Conventional, we don't, but always check with lenders to see what they're doing. I hope this video is helpful. Questions, comments, reach out.